Okay, let's jump to the hate list, Lawrence. One of the most fascinating pass game situations in the league, if you want to use that word charitably. DK Metcalf and George Pickens. Not sure if they're both going to be on the team, and not sure who's going to be their quarterback. But where do you think that you'll be drafting these guys in many leagues?
You don't know who their quarterback is? Mason Rudolph.
Oh, I don't know who their quarterback is.
The quarterback, Mason Rudolph, offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, who, by the way, once coached Drake London, who was wide receiver 44 and 42 in his 2 years of Arthur Smith. Drake London was now a top 20 receiver. So, am I drafting DK Metcalf? Sure, you could find value anywhere, right? But we're talking like 8th round, 7th round type. So we have to figure out who the quarterback is first before we really talk about if we're going to draft DK Metcalf, George Pickens.
They say that if you've got two quarterbacks, you don't have one quarterback. They also say that if Mason Rudolph's your quarterback, you don't have a quarterback. Spot on. Still much to be solved there. Cooper Kupp, very strange landing spot for Kupp in Seattle with the overlap with JSN.
Right. Where do we like JSN? The slot, typically. Where do we like Cooper Kupp? The slot, typically. I think the only thing I could say is Cooper Kupp hasn't been healthy enough the last couple of years that it makes me look at JSN that differently. Like, I'm still going to buy in on JSN. I'm still confident in him having a really good season with Sam Darnold. I think for anything, you just look at Cooper Kupp in this spot and just go, I'm good at this point. Like, I'm tired of figuring out when he's healthy. I'm tired of figuring out what his usage is. And now he's away from Sean McVay. I'm just out. It doesn't matter where he falls.
It's a nice story for Cooper Kupp because he gets paid. He gets to go home to Washington, you know, and play in front of his hometown crowd. But still, it feels weird. JSN is good enough to play outside. He can win on the outside. Like, he can play all over. But yes, in an ideal world, JSN is in the slot. And yes, Cooper Kupp can play outside. But we don't want either of them. They've had their most success consistently when they've played in the slot. So certainly, I'm still with you. JSN is still like a high upside wide receiver too, but this is a bad landing spot for Cooper Kupp.
Yep, last two guys quickly, Matthew. Jalen McMillan and Mark Andrews both suffer. Mark Andrews, DeAndre Hopkins arriving to take end zone targets, and Jalen McMillan just dealing with the Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the path for McMillan to have another breakout was Godwin going to another team, and that McMillan could move to the slot, which is his natural position, and sort of be the number 2, but he's now going to be the clear number 3 or 4 option on this passing attack behind potentially Cade Otton, who came on last year. So I think McMillan makes the hate list just because Godwin came back. And then Andrews just tough into the season. His biggest value last year was touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins, like, I think at this stage of his career, like, that's going to be a big part of what he brings to Baltimore, is a big red zone target for Lamar Jackson. So any threat to that for Andrews hurts his value. I'm still not convinced Andrews starts the season with Baltimore. I could see him on another team.
I'd say likely.
When all is said and done. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.